whether you call it God or Father in heaven or Allah or in non-theistic religions like Buddhism, whether you call it the state of nirvana, there is something by realizing which, by coming in contact with which, by establishing a relationship with which, one can overcome sorrow. One can overcome sorrow. One of the phrases, or one of the mantras of the Upanishads, which Swami Vivekananda was fond of chanting here when he was here in the United States more than 100 years ago. There it says, Tameva veditva ati mrityu mehti. There is an infinite reality, Purusham Mahantam, an infinite reality by knowing which one transcends the limitations of human life, mortality, suffering, death. One transcends that. And that is the promise of all religions. That is the promise of all religions. Now the interesting thing is, most religions, all religions of the world, if you look at it on the surface, it seems to say that you will be able to transcend the troubles of this world, the sufferings of this world, if you attain God. But the way to attain God, all of them seem to say, is you must give up the world. Here is the world. It calls us to, as if we were to enjoy it to the hilt. And here religion comes and rains on your parade. That's an American phrase. And says that you have to give up the enjoyments of this world, the pleasures of this world, in order to attain God. Now, on the surface, this seems to be suicidal advice. Why? Because this world is all that we know. All that we know is this world in front of us. The people in front of us, the life that we have got, the hopes and aspirations that we have got, this is the reality of our lives. And if we have to give this up in order to attain some God, some Brahman, some Atman, some Allah, which is talked about in... If we have to do that, then it seems like suicidal advice. Swami Vivekananda jokingly says that it's like a person who was being troubled by a mosquito. And the mosquito was sitting on his forehead or in his nose. And his friend said, wait, I'll get rid of it. And he gave that man such a blow, it killed the mosquito but killed the man also. In the same way, if we ask, what is the way out of the troubles of our life? How do we solve our problems? And religions come and say that yes, there is a real solution to the problems. There is an eternal solution to your problems. But the problem to the solution to the problems of life is to give up life altogether as you know it. And then it seems to be strange advice. So what is the way out? What is the way out? We have this life, but it is full of trouble, full of impermanency. Anything that you achieve in this life, it seems to slip away from your fingers after some time. The satisfaction that we expected from education, from wealth, from career, from achievement, from relationships, from family, it has come, it has gone. There is nothing permanent, nothing substantial about it. So, and yet beyond this, we have no idea. What is this? It seems theoretical. The religious books tell us, but where is that? So, the answer that is proposed in the Vedanta, Swami Vivekananda says, he says, it is finding God where you are. It is finding God in the people you live with. It's finding God in the actions that we do. In our present situation in life, finding God there. That is the idea that we get in Vedanta. Come. Swami Vivekananda said, he who runs away from life to meditate and die in a Himalayan cave, that I shall sit in a cave and meditate and find God there. Swami Vivekananda says he has missed the way. And then again he says, he who plunges headlong into the vanities and foolishness and luxuries of life, that is the goal of life, he too has missed the way. If you run away, you have missed the way. If you catch hold of life as it appears to you, you have missed the way. Then what is the way? Either you can have life as it is or give it up. One of the two. But if both of them are not leading you to the goal, then what is the way? Swami Vivekananda says the way is to deify life itself. The experience that we are having, the experience we are having right now, we have to find God, which religions promise. That God, that Allah, that Father in heaven, that Brahman, Atman. We have to find it in our experience right now, right here, in this situation. That is the goal. It is like if you have ornaments made of gold. Ornaments made of gold. You have a necklace, you have earrings, you have a ring. And somebody comes and tells you, see, the ring and the necklace and the earrings, those are not the reality. The reality is gold itself. The real thing in all of this is gold itself. And then we think that, okay, so reality is gold itself. I must find the gold. And I throw away the ornaments and look for the gold. Will I ever find the gold? No. No. If you throw the ornaments away and look for the gold elsewhere, you'll never. And yet, if you catch hold of one of the ornaments, alright, this ring itself is the reality, is the gold. What will be the problem with that? It is true that it is gold, but moment the ring is melted down and made into a necklace, moment it is melted down and made into a necklace, you will feel that, oh, the reality which was the ring has gone now. If we get attached to a particular name and form, to a particular situation in life that's ever changing, we do not know the reality at the back, then the problem comes. What I'm trying to say is, what Vedanta tries to say is, samsara as it appears to us is not the reality. There is a background reality. Behind this changing, ephemeral, transient reality that we face, there is a substantial reality, an eternal reality. That has to be discovered. It's only when you discover that and tune yourself to that you will be strong enough to face the challenges of life. The purpose in Vedanta is to discover the divine in life itself. The life that we are living right now. How do we discover the divine in this life itself? Swami Vivekananda says, what we should seek in life is strength. Strength to face life. You see, one day, few years ago in Belur, the headquarters, the main monastery of the Ramakrishna order, I was talking to one of the brahmacharis there, a novice. He was feeling a little depressed, a little sad. And I asked him, I was talking to him, I said, what do you want in life? You have become a monk, so what do you want in life? And he said, oh, I want peace in life. Shanti Jai, I want peace in life. And I told him Swami Vivekananda's immortal words, that you do not seek peace, seek strength. Peace will come of itself. You will never get peace if you chase peace. You will never get happiness if you chase happiness. But strength you can get. If you seek strength to face life, then you will get peace and happiness. And how do we get strength, real spiritual strength? Swami Vivekananda says, we get strength by tuning ourselves to the Absolute. By tuning ourselves to the Absolute. The spiritual reality that Vedanta speaks about. By discovering that and tuning our lives to that, we get strength to face life. We will get peace and happiness also. So how do we do that in the midst of this life itself? That is the subject that we are going to talk about today. Look at our actions. When we work for getting something. We have a motive. We want something. It could be money, it could be success, it could be name, it could be fame, it could be anything, knowledge. We are working to get something. And why do we want something? You see, behind the working for getting something is the assumption that we are incomplete. We feel incomplete. We feel that we need something more to satisfy ourselves. So we need something to complete ourselves. We always feel that if I get this thing, then I will be happy. behind all of our seeking is this idea. I'm reminded of the story of an Englishman who became a Buddhist monk. Yeah, I don't know if I've shared this story with you earlier. It's quite touching. He says, when I was a young boy, a school boy in England, my mum, I used to live with my mum in England, and she was not well-to-do. She was alone, so I had no father at that, and my mother brought me up all by herself. And he says that we did not have much money as a school, when I was growing up, and I knew that we were poor. Now one day, when I was walking back from school to our house in the small English town where we lived, he says that I saw in a shop there was a toy car. This was in the age long before video games and internet and all that. So a model car, which I liked very much. I stared at it with longing, and then I went back to my house and I told my mum that, "Mum, I want that car. I want that car." And my mother told me that, "See, we don't have so much money, we can't afford to buy an expensive toy like that." And he said that I went on pestering her just like a little child will do. "Mom, I want that car, and if I get that car, I'll never ask you for anything anymore. This is the last time I'm going to ask you for something. So I'm never going to ask you for anything anymore, if you can give me that car." And he says, at that time I really meant it. I felt that if I can get that car, all the desires of my life will be satisfied. And I think we can identify with that. I certainly can. As children, we have asked for something from it may be a little toy, today it might be what do you call it, Xbox or something like that. As a child, it's the same feeling. The child gets the feeling that he or she will be completely happy if she gets it or if he gets it. And one day he said, when I was walking back from my school, in the window I saw that car was not there anymore. So I thought some rich kid must have purchased it. And so he said, I came back home a little sad, but on the table I found that car was there. And he says, I was so happy. And it was my birthday, and my mother said that, "See, this is your birthday present and I brought it for you." And he said, "I am so happy." And he said, I started playing with it as little boys will. And one day went by, and the whole day after school I would play with that car. It was a shiny little car. And after a couple of weeks, I would play with it a little less. And after a month, I would not play with it much at all. And after 2 months, one of the wheels of the car broke off. Anyway, by that time, he said I was not very interested. And his mother, he said my mother took the car and put it on top of an almirah. She didn't throw it away, she put it there. And after that, for years and years, whenever I would ask for something, a bicycle or something like that, and my mother would point to that car. You remember? I don't want anything more in my life. Maybe that is why he says I became a Buddhist monk later on. The idea, it came to me that suffering in life, dukkha, is due to desire, Trishna, Bhagavan Buddha said. So, and the story has a very poignant end. He says that a few years ago my mother passed away, and he went from his monastery back to England to bury her because his mother was a Christian, so she was buried. And when she was buried in a coffin, when they lowered the coffin to the ground, that little toy car was still in there in the house. He got it and put it on top of the coffin. And I said that's a great lesson that my mother taught me. Desire comes because we feel we are not fulfilled. And if we add something from the world outside, a toy car, money, relationships, achievement, knowledge, even a little bit of religion, if I do that, then I will be complete. This is the idea that we have got. Adi Shankaracharya, writing more than 1200 years ago, he says, there's a famous phrase, says, avidya kama karma. He repeats it again and again. What he says is, see, ignorance leads to desire, desire leads to action, and action has its consequences, and we are trapped in this world. But ignorance of what? That is the interesting thing. Vedanta tells us, we are already complete. We are already perfect. We are already Purnam. We do not know that. We do not feel that. And hence, this not knowing it, not feeling it, not understanding it, not comprehending it, that we are already perfect and complete and infinite, we start feeling we are finite. We have lost sight of our infinite nature, we feel we are finite. We have lost sight of our nature of Purnatva, and we feel apurnam, incomplete. And feeling that, there is a desire for infinity, there is a desire for completion, and we try to complete it by getting things, grabbing things from the world. None of which give us that completeness, that fullness which we are seeking. Avidya kama karma. Now the idea is to discover that fullness within us. And all the spiritual technologies, I call them spiritual technologies, called the yogas, which we find in our scriptures, are all methodologies, technologies to give us back our lost infinity, to make us acquainted, to make us feel a living reality, to make it a living reality that we are already complete, that we are already full, that infinitude already exists inside and outside. How do we do that? The work that we do for getting things. He says, if you work for getting things from the world, that is karma. If you work without any desire for getting things from the world, work only for as a service, as a worship of Bhagavan, then that becomes karma yoga. Nishkama, without phalakangsha, without the desire for that if I get this, I will be completed, without that idea. And yet we have to work. We are in the world, we cannot stay without working. You either work for completion, for the fulfillment, for the satisfaction of desires of this one limited individual body-mind complex, or you work for others. Working for one's own enjoyment, karma. Working for the enjoyment and for the being beneficent to others, the technical term is loka sangraha. So that becomes karma yoga. Transforming karma into karma yoga frees us from the bondage of karma. It is not karma which binds us. It is our attitude to karma which binds us. I have seen Swamijis in the Ramakrishna mission, there are so many schools, colleges, hospitals, tremendous amount of work. Tremendous amount of work is being done. I remember when I became a monk some more than 20 years ago, I thought, what will I do in the ashram? Probably they will ask me to do puja and meditation and japa and study the shastras. That should be the life of a monk. First thing they told me was, here is a hostel. Students stay there. 40 children are, 40 boys are there. You go and take care of them. 9-year-old boys, most mischievous lot. Of course, they became very dear to me. And I'm saying that because some of them may be listening me later. So, I thought, my God, if I were in samsara, if I got married and had a family, I would have had 1 or 2 children. Now 40 children. Super samsara, what is this? So tremendous amount of work is being done. And yet, I see the monks doing this work with a smiling face, with a peaceful heart, with a calm mind. Somebody he was saying about, talking about Lokeshwaranandaji this morning, a great Swami who has passed away. In Calcutta there is a huge institution called the Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Culture in a place called Gold Park. There is another big college and school called Narendrapur. So these huge institutions were set up by this Swami. And I have myself seen, when I was a young boy and as a brahmachari, I've seen this Swami so calm. One of the first characteristics you will see about this person who is doing a tremendous amount of work is the calmness and the sweetness of this person. Once he's sitting in this office, it's a huge institute, an international institute in Kolkata. And he's the Swami in charge. He has brought it to that particular glory. He did not establish that one, but he developed it to what it is now. So he's sitting in this office, and there's an international delegation who have come to meet him. They are having tea and he's speaking to them. And suddenly this little boy comes into the office. From somewhere he has wandered in. And instead of getting upset, the Swami, he smiles, a big broad smile, as if he's waiting for the child. He said, come, come. The child was shy. Come here. Asked him, where have you come from? And the child said, oh, I went to visit Belur Math. And the Swami, as if he has not seen Belur Math, said, oh, Belur Math, what did you see there? Belur Math is the headquarters of Ramakrishna. He has seen Belur Math before the child's grandfather was born. So he is, as if to the child, he is listening to the child about what Belur Math is. And the child is vigorous, is very enthusiastically describing Belur Math and the temple of Sri Ramakrishna and so on. And Swami Lokeshwaran is listening and sweetly smiling and said, there are some books here, take them. And the child is shy, of course, no. No, these books are kept for you, they were meant for gifts for visitors. Take them. And the child left. Somebody, you are busy, you are the CEO of a big organization. In a big meeting. Suddenly an unknown person, the child wanders in. The first reaction will be, who let the kid in? Whose kid is it? Where has this kid come from? Nothing. Did not even ask where you have come from, why you have come, where you have come from, where did you go, he asked. But why have you come here? Who are your parents? Where did you suddenly pop up from? Nothing. As if he's sitting there just to meet me. And he was like that with everybody. In spite of so much responsibility, so much work. With a little bit of work we get frazzled. With a frown on our foreheads. From early morning and running. I have to somehow brush my teeth, have a cup of coffee and perform ablutions, rush off. And already my mind is full of, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this after this. So much pressure. Always calm and quiet. Have you seen that movie Gandhi?
Yes.
There's a very small scene, but very touching scene, where he's speaking about a very serious issue about the freedom struggle with Pandit Nehru, Sardar Patel and some others have come. And Gandhiji is speaking to them. A serious meeting about India's independence. And in ashram a little girl comes running that my goat, baby goat, she has a baby pet goat, it is hurt or something, I have to put a bandage. Bapuji, can you do something? And Gandhiji forgets everybody and starts talking to the little girl and bandaging the leg of that little goat. But that is something telling, you know. For others, for Pandit Nehru and Vallabhbhai Patel and all these, it's a great issue, independence of the nation. But for Gandhiji, your independence of India and the little girls, for the little girl, that goat is equally important. So he pays the same attention for that little child. So karma, when we are not attached to the results, when I am not doing it for my own satisfaction, for satisfying my own desires, when I am doing it for the welfare of others, it may be tremendous work, it may be tremendous responsibility, you will be calm and peaceful. Swami Vivekananda said, the goal, the ideal of karma yoga is this, that in the midst of tremendous action, there will be eternal calmness. And he says, in the battlefield, Arjuna, Krishna, teaching Gita, the philosophy of Vedanta there. And yes, he said, yeah, it's gone. And the opposite, in the quietness of a Himalayan cave also, the mind will be working like a blast furnace. What happens normally to us is, when we come to a quiet and peaceful environment, the mind also falls asleep. Mind becomes tamasic. When we come to a very active, high pressure environment, we become all excited, tense. So our mind gets, it reacts to the environment. Whereas if your mind is strong enough, tuned to the infinite, then in an intensely busy environment also you'll be completely peaceful. In a very peaceful and quiet environment also, you can think and think deeply. Your mind can be very active also. So that is the goal of Karma Yoga. In the midst of all our activities, how can we be above these activities? Do it as a worship of God. Just as you have come here and put flowers and incense and a lamp before God, in the same way, all the actions that we do can be done as a worship of the Lord. We have a hospital in Banaras, Kashi, Sevashram, where the monks, they treat the patients. And the idea is you are worshipping God in the form of the sick person, Rugi Narayan. Narayan has come in the form of the sick person. And once in a year, I have not seen that, but I heard it, that they actually, with flowers and incense, they will worship the patients. The rest of the year they worship them with medicines and injections. But to keep the spirit alive. So we are worshipping God. Whether you are in the family, when you feed the child, you are mentally, you are feeding your the child Gopala or Ram Lala, you are feeding. When you are convert the house into a temple. I have seen some devotees do that. The house itself becomes an ashram. There is a central part of the house where there will be pictures of gods and goddesses. Puja is performed, and the whole day is organized around that. This was there traditionally. In India, many houses had the household deity, and the life was organized around that. Early morning you wake up and you wake up the deity. If you first take a bath, cook food, offer food first to the deity, then only the children and the people in the house will take food. Then preparation will start for the noon worship. Like this, and evening there will be arati of the deity. And like this, every house was a temple and can be a temple again. So convert all our daily actions into worship. That which was samsara now becomes an ashram. It can be done, and many people have done it. Go deeper. Our wants, our desires, we want the world. We want the world. I want things in the world, that is samsara. Keep the I want, keep the desires, but turn the desires towards God. I want the world, samsara. I want God, bhakti. I love the world, the things in the world, samsara. I love God, bhakti. And God is in the people in the world, in the things in the world. It's not that if I love God, I will not love the people in the world. Not at all. You will love them more. Now it is a grasping kind of love. These are mine, they are not mine. This is samsara. Everybody is my Gopala, or everybody is my Rama. That is sadhana. That is not samsara. There was this old lady who is to come, a widow, who is to come to Sri Ramakrishna to visit. She was a great sadhika. And she used to worship the child Gopala. And her name was Gopalirma. She used to come to visit Sri Ramakrishna. And she used to see Gopala everywhere. Gopala sitting on her lap, Gopala climbing on her shoulders. She would feed Gopala. Whole life was organized around that Gopala. One day, Swami Vivekananda, Vedantic, not given to any kind of superstition, all these things. And Sri Ramakrishna, very wisely, he told Gopalirma, tell this boy Naren about your visions. And he wanted to see what is Naren's reaction. So Gopalirma told him, I see Gopala this way and that way and all this. And a very simple old lady, saintly, she said, Baba, do you think all these are hallucinations of my mind? By that time, the rationalist Narendranath had become so affected, there were tears in his eyes. He said, no mother, no ma, what you are seeing is true. It is that, it's true. Devotion, bhakti. When the same desire flows to the world, leads to samsara. The same desire flows to God, it leads Godward. It leads you out of samsara. Sri Ramakrishna said, More puriyati. Turn the direction of your desires. Instead of desiring the things and people of the world, turn the direction of your desires towards God. Samsara will remain, the family will remain. You don't have to throw out your family or run away from the family. If you're in the family, you will remain in the family. If you're in the ashram, you will remain in the ashram. But love everybody around you, knowing that God dwells in them. That kind of love is not binding. That kind of love is not binding. Go deeper. Even deeper than that. In bhakti, all our thoughts are centered around God. God is mine, I belong to God. This samsara, the family that God has given me, this job that God has given me, that is also God's samsara. He has put me in this situation, I will do my best. My thoughts are about God, but let's go deeper. Why have thoughts at all? Can we get freedom from thoughts? And that is the realm of yoga, of meditation. You want deep peace right now in the midst of this samsara? You can get. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha we were discussing yesterday. The deepest possible peace. It is there. It is our very nature. Peace is our very nature. We can get it. Mind can be quietened down. A sadhu in the Himalayas, he was giving us instruction about meditation. Simplest instruction. 3 things. I'll tell you in Hindi, as he said. It works nicely in Hindi. He said, Hilo mat, bolo mat, socho mat. Hilo mat means don't move. See, a great deal of our disturbance of the mind is due to movement of the body. If you can keep the body still for a few seconds, for a few minutes, for a few hours. Yesterday I was telling somebody how I saw more than one monk in the Belur Mat. Shivaratri Puja whole night, Kali Puja whole night. Sitting, will come and sit down at 9 o'clock, steady, sit straight like this, eyes closed and peaceful. 8 hours later, next morning, opening the eyes. No fidgeting, no, dozing, nothing. Deeply, they can dive within. Many of the advanced spiritual sadhakas, if you see their eyes, you will see somewhere it is turned inwards. You can feel that this person's mind is only partly in the world, partly somewhere else. That is the product of deep meditation. The deepest possible peace. Imagine, when we all go to sleep, dreaming stops, deep sleep. No world, no body, no thought, no problems. Imagine a person, I often give this example, of a person who is sick in the ICU, intensive care unit of a hospital. Body breaking down, multi-organ failure and whatnot, very soon the person may die. So much problem in that person's life. But that person also, when he goes into deep sleep, that night in the ICU, no problem at all. From that person's point of view, all the problems are in the world, in the body, in the mind. It shuts it down. Imagine now if we could go to that deep sleep state while remaining awake. Not fall asleep. We are awake. The world disappears from your view. The body disappears from your awareness. The mind disappears from your awareness. Is it possible? It is possible. So the deepest possible peace in meditation. Patanjali speaks about it. Even deeper. The finest, the deepest level now let's go to. You see, peace, if it is there in samadhi and deep meditation, the moment you come out of meditation, here is the world again, here are your family responsibilities, your job responsibilities, physical, body, health problems, all these come back again. So if peace is in deep meditation, as one Swami put it, आपका शांति आप समाधि के पिंजरे में बंद कर दिए हैं. You have put your peace in the prison of samadhi. Only if I go to that state I will have peace. But the Upanishads tell us, Vedanta tells us, peace is our real name. You think your real name is Mr. X or Mrs. Y? But Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad tells you, your name is Shantam. Shantam Shivam Advaitam. Your name is Shantam. It's not that you have to become peaceful. It's not that you have to have a peaceful mind. What you are beyond the body and mind is eternal peace. That can be realized in this life. If that is realized, whether we are in meditation or we are in action, in both cases we are in the world, you'll have the deepest peace. You'll have the deepest peace. In the midst of the world also, you are peace itself. In Ashtavakra Samhita, we find this level of jnana. This is the level of jnana. 3 levels deeper and deeper. Mai ananta mahambodo vishwa bhota itastata bhramati swanta vatena namamastya sahishwata. I am an infinite ocean of consciousness, existence, bliss. In me, this world, including body and mind. In this ocean, the world is like a little boat which is floating in this ocean. Sometimes going up, sometimes going down. Antavatena, by the law of its own cause and effect, by karma phala. Sometimes good things are happening, sometimes bad things are happening. What is my attitude? What is the attitude of the ocean to the boat? The attitude of the ocean to the boat is na mama asti asahishnuta. I am not impatient. I am not impatient. I am patient with it. Let the events of life, they are floating on the surface, on my surface, surface of consciousness as I am. Let them come and go as they will. Patience is a great, great virtue. It's not an ordinary virtue. It's a great spiritual virtue. Sri Ramakrishna says in Bengali, sha, in Sanskrit, sha, sa. 3 shas are there. In Bengali they pronounce it all as the same, sha. So they will say sha, sha, sha. Sri Ramakrishna is to make a pun out of that. He will say sha, sha, sha. The meaning of sha in Bengali is to forbear. Sahana in Hindi. To withstand, to forbear. And Sri Ramakrishna is to say in Bengali, sha, sha, sha. Je shai, she rai. Je na shai, tar na shai. The one who forbears, he will exist, he will survive. The one who becomes impatient, who cannot forbear, he will be destroyed. Je na shai, one who does not withstand, jo nahi sehta hai, uska nash hota hai. So patience comes. How will you have patience? You have patience only when you realize yourself, only when you have the conviction that you are an infinite ocean of existence, consciousness, bliss. Go deeper. Mahi ananta maham bodho vishwa vichi swabhavata udetu vastamayatu name vriddhi navakshati. I am an infinite ocean of existence, consciousness and bliss. And this world, this entire samsara, this body, this mind, with all its problems, all of these are waves in the ocean that I am. These are waves in me. I am an ocean, an entire universe. They are waves in me. The ocean is not different from the waves are not different from the ocean. This entire world, body, mind, people, all the problems, they are not different from me. I myself am shining forth in all these ways. I am one with everything. Let the waves come up, let the waves merge back into the ocean. The ocean is not increased when there are waves. Ocean is not decreased when the waves become flat, when the waves merge back into the ocean. Similarly, let birth come, I am not increased by that. Let death come, I am not diminished by that. Let honor come, I am not glorified by that. Let dishonor come, I lose nothing from that. These are all waves in me. Let health come or disease come, I am the same ocean of Satchidananda. Even deeper, if you can imagine a deeper state. Mai ananta maham bodho vishwam nama vikalpana. I am the infinite ocean of existence, consciousness, bliss. And this entire world, this samsara, is an imagination, is a dream, an illusion which appears in me. I only exist. Atishanto nirakara etadevahamastita. When? Not in samadhi, now itself. Whether you are in this world, waking world, which is called Vittana in this world, or in deep samadhi, it is the same ocean of Satchidananda. In this world and in samadhi, these are stages of the mind, status of the mind. Mind can be in samadhi, mind can be active in this world. But you, the reality, existence, consciousness, you are always that. So this is the deepest level. This is called Jnana Yoga. This is Advaita Bhavana. Remaining in the world itself, tremendously active. Who was more active than Vivekananda? He said, I will not live to see 40. He died at the age of 39. And tremendously active. Within the last 10 years of his life, he did all this. Coming to the United States, preaching Vedanta, exposing the West to Hinduism, taking back ideas from here for the reformation and reawakening of the nation. In 10 years' time, he did all this. Tremendous activity. And eternal peace. You see, he was always tuned to that. In New York, when he used to give lectures in those days, there were these tram lines. I think New York probably. and he would sit in that to go to the place where he will give a lecture. And when he would sit, he would get so absorbed immediately in meditation. He would get so absorbed immediately in meditation, and that the tram would go past the place where he is supposed to stop and complete the circuit of the city and come back. He would have lost all time. Sometimes he would be so calm, intensely active, but so calm that relaxed. Time is there for the lecture. Somebody says, "Swami, we'll be late. Hurry up." And he would smile and say to this lady who said that to him, "Madam, you live in time, I live in eternity." You will have that tremendous peace, the tremendous patience that comes. So, by these 4 ways, work for the Lord, work for Bhagavan. You need not express it to your family members or to your office people that from now on I am going to work not for you but for Bhagavan. It is an internal adjustment. Same work you can do. When Arjuna wanted to give up the battle and he said, "I want to become a spiritual man, I don't want to fight this war." When Sri Krishna said, "If you want to become a spiritual aspirant, you have to fight this war. This duty you have to do. But now do it as karma yoga." Earlier you were doing it for personal reasons, for taking revenge on the Kauravas, for getting the kingdom. But now you do it for chitta shuddhi, for spiritual purpose, as a spiritual practice. So karma, all the work that we do at home or in the community or in your career, that can be converted into spiritual practice. Then it will not bother you, it will not trap you, it will not disturb you. You will be at peace with that. Second, our desires. Desires, I want the world, convert it into I want God. Your desires will not trouble you then. You will not be frustrated, you will not be troubled. Getting God is a great joy. Not getting God and desiring God is also a joy. When Radha is crying for Krishna, the gopis, they love Krishna and they want Krishna, and they are not getting Krishna. So that not getting Krishna itself is a high spiritual attitude called viraha in bhakti. It's a very prized attitude. That we love God and we want God, but we have no sight of, we're not getting the vision of God. So you spend your time crying for God. That's also a great joy. It's a great joy, pure joy. So desire for God, bhakti. And deeper still, the third one, yoga, dhyana. We are not the mind. We have a mind, but we are not the mind. Imagine, we have hands and legs. Suppose I have legs. And isn't it funny if I say that I have legs, so I must keep walking. I cannot stop walking. How strange. I have a tongue, so I have to keep eating. How strange. No, I will walk when I want to. I will not walk when I want to. Because the legs belong to me. I don't belong to the legs. Tongue belongs to me. I don't belong to the tongue. Similarly, the mind belongs to us. We don't belong to the mind. Why do we always have to think? If we notice, if we look inwards, we'll find the mind has, it's like an automatic, there's a continuous chatter in the mind. If you engage it in work, it will do work. Otherwise, you sit quietly. Random thoughts will keep on coming and going. Why? Anxieties, worries, fears, hankering. You see, most of the thoughts are, what if only? If only that had happened, if that had not happened. If only I had said this, if only I had not said that. Past, that is, regrets about the past, if only. And expectations and anxieties about the future. What if? What if the stock market goes down and my savings go down? What if I win the lottery? Good things and bad things, we are anxious about it, we expect it. If the mind stops, you are free of that. You should be able to think, not think when you want. You have seen pictures of Raman Maharshi sitting quietly. So there's an interesting story. Somebody asked Raman Maharshi, what is the Maharshi thinking about? He's sitting very quietly. Raman Maharshi did not say anything, simply sitting. Another person sitting there said, he's not thinking about anything. What does the Maharshi think about this? The other person answered, the Maharshi does not think. And Ramana Maharshi smiled at him and nodded, as if to say that he is right. Why should we always think? The mind can be quietened, calmed. That is the stage of yoga, meditation. And higher still, the final, the deepest possible level of peace is the peace that we get from jnana. To know that our real nature is shantam, shantam shivam advaitam. We get tremendous power of patience. This world we can bear with it. Somebody put it beautifully. Patience is the shadow of the eternal. If you feel the eternal in your life, it will be reflected as patience in the world. You will not get impatient with anything in the world. Neither with people, neither with their behavior, neither with the external conditions, heat and cold, nor with the ill health of the body. Nothing will faze you. So, that eternal peace, which is our real nature, if we can only know that, if we can realize that, if we can manifest it in daily life, then we can live Padma Patram Evambasa, live like a lotus leaf, untouched by the sorrows and sufferings of life. I'll end with this. Ma Sharada, once she had gone to our hospital in Benares, it's a hospital there, to see how the monks were serving the poor people. And Swami Brahmananda, the first president of the order, his picture is here. Yes, there is his picture. Swami Brahmananda there. It's very nice that under his picture is written "Silence, please," because he was a very silent Swami. He had gone there, and many other monks. He was the president of the Ramakrishna order, and Ma Sharda was staying in a separate quarters. One day, Swami Brahmananda was in ecstasy, in a divine mood, and he saw Ma Sharda standing up there. She was watching from the upper balcony, and Swami Brahmananda, surrounded by the other monks and devotees, some were playing this khol, the cymbals, and kirtan was going on. And he sang a beautiful song, which is still sung till this day in the Ramakrishna mission in Belur Math and other ashrams. The song is, in Bengali, Shankari Charane Mon Magno Hoi Rauri. O my mind, remain absorbed at the feet of the holy feet of Shankari, means Gauri, Parvati, Sharada. At her feet, remain absorbed. E teen shanshar miche, the three worlds are false. Three worlds, the world of waking, the world of our dreams, and the world of deep sleep. The three worlds, or you can call it heaven and Matyaloka and Patal, whatever. Three worlds are false. Miche Brumiye Badaure. In vain do you roam around in these three worlds in the hope of getting something from it. You will not get it. Where will you get that peace you are looking for? At the feet of the Holy Mother. Remain absorbed, O my mind, remain absorbed at her feet. Then he says, this world is a Shukher Nodi Niravodi, Dhire Dhire Bhavare. How to live in this world? This world, which seems to be an ocean of suffering, it is Shukher Nodi. It's a river of bliss. If you have seen the Ganga near Belur Math, you will see it's a big river and small boats, they sail on the river. Imagine that you are one of those boats and the river is the river of life. It's a river of joy. Dhire dhire bhavare. Gently sail over its surface. Keep your mind absorbed at the feet of the Divine Mother. This is how we live in samsara without being torn apart by samsara, without drowning in bhavasagar, by attuning ourselves with the Absolute, with the Divine. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. We have some time for question answers?
We have time till 11:45.
So we have got enough time for question answers. If anybody wants to ask? Yes.
Raj, all what you said, everything, every aspect of bhakti, karma yoga, patience, forbearance, everything else, were there any testing circumstances in your life with regard to these things?
In my life,
Yes.
no, that's a very personal question. Yes, in all our lives, we can see these things happening and how we faced it and how we failed to face it. And these are lessons that we learned. Not from my life, but I can give examples, the lives of others I have seen or read about, great sadhakas, sannyasis. Swami Ramakrishnananda, he established the mutt in Chennai, number of other mutts in the south. He's there, next, just above Somashekharan. That Sashi Maharaj, Swami Ramakrishnananda. So when he was there in Chennai, in Madras in those days, starting the mutt, he had to undergo a lot of struggle to start the mutt. Poor country, and here was unknown sadhu who has come to start a mutt. Who will give money? But because he persevered, he had a small mutt and a picture of Sri Ramakrishna which he would worship daily and offer whatever food was coming from the devotees. He would offer that first, and whatever was there he would eat that. One day there was nothing, no food, and he said, whatever his problems, see, this is the thing we learned, whatever his problems, he would first go and complain to Sri Ramakrishna. He said, so today there is no food. Okay, I don't mind. I will go, it is near the seashore. I will go to the seashore, I will collect the sand and make little balls of sand. I will offer it to you and I will put it for a sip into my mouth. What is that? Luckily, and he would have done that. Luckily, somebody came with a thali of delicious items. Somehow it turned up. And so many such examples. He would go for classes. He would go offer classes in scriptures. Sometimes people would come, sometimes nobody would come. And there are stories of him. He would go there where the class is to be held. If there is rain, sometimes heavy rain, rare in Madras, but it's there. And that street would be waterlogged. He would have fold his dhoti in half, go through that street, go to the small room where the class is to be held. Nobody has come that day because of weather or something. He will either sit quietly and give a lecture to the empty room, or he will sit quietly in meditation for some time and then come up. You see, he is serving, he is not talking to people. He is talking to the Lord. Towards the end of his life, one American lady had gone from here, Sister Deva Mata, an American lady, and she was listening to accounts about his life. So when she heard of the troubles that he has faced, and this is the point of the story, when she heard of the troubles he has faced, she says, she writes in her memoirs, she says, I was very sad and I could not contain myself. I burst out, Swami, why should a saintly soul like you face so much trouble? It is, I feel very bad. Why so much trouble should come to you? And the Swami got excited. He said, what are you saying? My true life is infinite. This little life belongs to the Lord. Let Him play with it as He will. Imagine the framework. So that is what we have to learn. Our true life is infinite. Dedicate this little life to Lord, the way God has put you, the Divine Mother has put you in the situation she has put you in. She knows very well. The Divine Mother knows very well what situation we are in. And it is by her wish that we are in this situation. With that attitude, go on doing the best you can and take the name of the Lord and keep your mind at the feet of the Divine Mother. Your true life is infinite. You do not lose anything in this world. That's one example. Swami Ramakrishnananda. Physical pain. Physical pain. So when you become very spiritual, will you have physical pain or not? Will you have physical pain or not? So no. If you are a spiritual person, how can you have pain? If you have pain, you are not a spiritual person. That is the wrong idea of spirituality. Spirituality is not an anesthesia.
Example is Ramana Maharshi.
Ramana Maharshi.
Sarcoma.
Yes, sarcoma.
Yes, sir.
And so, all the spiritual persons, if you have a body, the body will suffer. The body will disintegrate one day. Sri Ramakrishna, when he had cancer in the throat, one day, Swami Turiyanandaji, who is there, was a great Vedantic, just above, there. He went and asked Sri Ramakrishna, who had cancer, was very sick, weak, lying down on the bed, asked him, twice this happened. Once he asked him, are you suffering? Is there suffering in the body? And Sri Ramakrishna said, what kind of question is that? Does the body become enlightened? The body will suffer. Body gets a disease, it will suffer. That's one answer. The second incident is even more interesting. Another day, Turiyanandaji went and asked Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, how are you today? And he said, oh, I am in great pain, I cannot eat, it is hurting so much. And Turiyanandaji said, but I see you are in great joy. I see you are in great joy. And Sri Ramakrishna is the difference between an enlightened person and the rest of us. Sri Ramakrishna immediately burst out laughing and he said in Bengali, Shala dhore niyeche, the rascal has caught me. He understands. Turiyanandaji himself, towards the end of his life, he had a carbuncle in his back, and there was once an operation performed on his finger. The doctor said we have to lance the wound and it will be very painful. He was a very old man at that time in Kashi. So we will put an anesthesia. And Turiyanandaji said, no need, you lance it. Swami, it will hurt very much. It's extremely painful. He said, no need. And they lanced it and the operation went on. Turiyanandaji was fully conscious, not in meditation also. Fully conscious and calm and quiet and smiling. It was incredible. People, so many people saw it. They were surrounded, standing there.
That is spirituality's anesthesia here.
Oh, wait, I'll tell you. The next part of the story is an answer to your question. Next day, the doctor came to dress the wound. So he opened the bandage and started dressing it, and Turiyanandaji cried out, oh, what are you doing? The doctor was surprised. Swami, I know this hurts, but this is nothing compared to the pain yesterday. Yesterday you were calm and smiling when the actual operation was being performed, and now I am just dressing the wound. It is painful, no doubt, but you are shouting with pain. What is the mystery? Turiyanandaji said, Tumi bolbe to mon tule nita. You should tell me first that you are going to touch it. I will lift my mind from the body. There are two ways to do this. One is the yogic way, where the mind is completely focused on God so that there is no capacity left over for feeling pain or anything from the world. You'll be not aware of the world, not aware of the body. Something like anesthesia there, where mind is focused on God. That's one. So he does not feel it also. Another way is the Jnani's way, where you regard everything in the world, the body, and the pain in the body also, as nothing but Brahman shining forth in those ways. The names and forms. The reality is existence, consciousness, bliss. And I am that reality. In Upadesha Sahasri, there is a textbook which Shankaracharya wrote as an introduction to Advaita Vedanta. This question goes on. If you are the witness, you are apart from it. You are apart from the body. Just as I am the witness of this mic, I am different from the mic. Similarly, I am the witness of this body. Just see, are we not experiencing the body? If we are experiencing the body, then we are the experiencer, the body is experienced. We are the subject, the body is an object. So the body is something separate from you. You are the one which knows the body through the body. Then the disciple asks this question. In Upadeshastra it is there. But sir, it hurts. If you hit the mic, I will not feel anything. So I can say mic is different, I am different. But if you hit the body, he says if the body is burnt, I feel the pain. This disciple asked this in the text portion of Upadesha Sahasri. Shankaracharya's answer there is very subtle. One must first understand the question, then one must understand the answer. The question is, you are saying I am different from the body. Just now I am different from the body. Just like I am different from other objects. But other objects, if you hit them, if you break them, I don't feel anything. So I have no problem. But the body, if I put my hand on the fire, it gets burnt and I feel the pain. So how am I different from the body? I am suffering. And this is the question. Now what is the answer? Shankaracharya says, carefully think about what I said. I said, if you experience it, you are different from that which you experience. You experience the body, you are talking about pain. Do you experience pain? Of course. If you experience pain, you are
Not the pain.
You are not the pain. You are the knower of the pain. So pain is also an object. Pain will not go away. It's not anesthesia. It's also an object apart from you. Something that has come into the light of your awareness. Something that will disappear from the light of your awareness very soon. It is temporary, anityam, and also mithya. An appearance which comes and goes. It's not easy to grasp, but it's a fact. It's a fact. You only need to own up to the fact that we are the witness of the pain. If you try to see it that way, you will see it's already true. Our mind plays tricks. No, it will be true when you are Brahmagyani, not now. It is true right now. The only difference between Brahmagyani and us is Brahmagyani recognizes this fact quite clearly. We refuse to recognize it. We refuse to recognize it. Yesterday I was telling you about a Swami in the Himalayas who told us about, he watched the Ganga on the TV and he said, "Koi sar nahi hai isme." Another thing, that Swami who was an Advaitin, in his old age he became quite obese. He was quite fat and a little ill also, in the 80s. So a doctor came up from the plains to see him. And the doctor was checking him and he said in Hindi to the Swami, "Swami ji, kya khate hain itna mota ho gaya? What do you eat? How you become so fat, so obese?" And the doctor was very lean and thin. So the Swami replied, "Doctor Babu, हम अपनी चिंता को चबा जाते हैं और चिंता तुम्हें चबा जाती है. All my tensions and worries and problems, I chew them and eat them and digest them. And all the tensions and anxieties are eating you up. That's why you have become so lean. How can he do that? How could Turiyanandaji do that? He knew himself, he had realized himself as existence consciousness bliss. This body is a mask. This body is a costume that you are putting on, as a nama rupa that you are putting on. It has come, it will go. He is not worried about it. He is not worried about it. No, but it's not enough just to hear about it. One must realize this also. Hear this, be convinced about it, meditate deeply about it till you see it is a reality. You see, it's already a reality, but one must make it a living reality. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Hearing these truths systematically, studying Vedanta, then many doubts will come. All doubts have to be resolved through a process of deep thinking, Manana. And once the Manana has been done, you'll be convinced. And Nididhyasana is for assimilation, removal of obstacles which do not allow you to manifest this knowledge in practical life. It will help you to remove them. So then it becomes a living reality for us. There's a funny story of a monk, I don't know how true it is, but I've told it a number of times, who had read all this, and one day an operation had to be performed. So he had read about Swami Turiyananda and all these things, and so he said, told the doctor, "No need to put anesthesia. I am the Atman." Doctor said, "Are you sure, Swami?" "Yes, it will hurt. Let it, no problem. I am the witness. Pain also I am the witness." And the moment the knife cut the hand, immediately shouted, "Oh, stop. What happened? Put anesthesia." No, but you said you are the Atman. And then he said, "वो साला किताब का बात किताब में रह गया." All that in Hindi, it means all that theory from the books is in the books. Does not help me now. One must not only know it, one must have full conviction, and one must manifest it in life also. Yes.
I'm not able to understand, in certain cases, as Ramana Maharshi said, even animals can attain self-realization. Like in his case of cow, Lakshmi, who he said attained self-realization. So how is it possible in terms of, do they really have in special cases the intellect and consciousness which we have?
Normally it is not possible, but the thing is, after all, what are animals? They are also jivas like us. We are in a human body, that Jiva has gone into an animal body. All of us, whether animals or human beings or plants, all of us are ultimately existence consciousness bliss. Even animals are also existence consciousness bliss. Normally they cannot, but by the grace of Guru, by the grace of an enlightened soul, sometimes it may be possible. We hear about Lakshmi the cow in Raman Maharshi's art. So anyway, it may be possible. It may be possible. Mahapurush Swami Shivanandaji, who is there next to Swami Ramakrishnanandaji, yes. He says in one place, in Reminiscences, I remember, he says, by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, there is such power in this body that if I say to this tree, the tree outside, be free, the tree will be free. Of course, it's not easy to take that blessings also. Once Swami Brahmananda, he said, how many people want it? Liberation, moksha. One of the monks who was there, young monks all around him, Swami Brahmananda was the president at that time. One of the monks said, Swami, I want it. I know you can give it to me. You give it to me, enlightenment, moksha. I want that. The Swami said, are you sure? He said, yes, I am sure. Then the Swami said, all right, think about it tonight, come tomorrow in the morning and ask me. And then that young monk went very happy. And he actually get it by the grace of Guru. What other people have to do life after life of sadhana, and now it's there. Next day in the morning, that young monk did not come to Swami Brahmananda. Whole day did not come. Wherever Swami Brahmananda was going, that monk was avoiding him and going in some other way. And in the evening, Swami Brahmananda said, sadly, I knew it. Not many people want it. They become scared. Yes.
Maharaj, for years now I've been studying the relationship between quantum physics and Vedanta. And recently, the day before yesterday, I saw a video of Swami Sarvapriyananda, and he started the presentation by saying that the rishis had written the Vedas from extrasensory, and that is, being that he's a scientist, that is so amazing to me. It is he is right in the center of what I'm aiming for. My question is, Maharaj, when were the Vedas written by the rishis? How old are the Vedas? How old is Sanskrit language?
It's difficult to answer, but there are two things. I'll comment on what you said about quantum mechanics and Vedanta later on. But first, about the Vedas, that is, the simple answer is that traditionally we consider Vedas to be spiritual knowledge revealed by God to the rishis. So the rishis saw these truths, mantra drashtara, rishaya mantra drashtara. Mantras, they saw it in superconscious states. But these are spiritual truths which are there and which are expressed in the Vedic Sanskrit language. If you talk to traditional Sanskrit Pandits, Vedic Pandits, they will say exactly like that. In that language itself it's there and it was revealed. But it may not be like that, but it may simply be spiritual truths which are there, just like the laws of science, and which are comprehended and realized by the great rishis. When was it done? Our traditional idea is that creation goes through cycles. So the creation of the universe, existence of the universe, and again after some time the universe is reabsorbed into Maya, Abhyakta. So in every creation Vedas are revealed. Every time this universe is there and life evolves and people are there, the Vedas are revealed and people take advantage of that and practice spirituality, and some of them get liberation. And again it all dissolves back into the primal state.
They've always existed.
Yes, and it rotates. Creation, existence and destruction in this way. So that's the idea. But if you go by modern scholarship today, Vedas, you can date it back to, they say approximately 4,000 or 5,000 years. That is at least that much. There are other theories which push it back much further. And Veda Vyasa, who divided the Vedic literature into 4 Vedas, Vyasa is at the source of the Vedas, but he did not compose or write on any of the Vedas. What he did was, whatever was existing, he classified it into 4 Vedas. Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda. And Yajur Veda having 2 main branches, Shukla Yajur Veda and Krishna Yajur Veda. And everywhere you find the mantras, names of the rishis are mentioned. The rishis who initially saw these truths, realized these truths. So it is the richest corpus of spiritual truths found in civilization, human civilization, and oldest existing body of literature. And Sanskrit language, as we see it today, dates back to Panini, maybe 2000, more than 2000, 2500, 2000 years, and Vedic Sanskrit much older than that. So, very difficult to date precisely. Quantum mechanics, I don't know anything about it, just a layman's acquaintance, but why I liked it was what you said, is that there is a philosopher working on this area in Cambridge University, Ankur Barua. I met him this time, young Indian philosopher. He's working on quantum mechanics and Advaita Vedanta. And in one of his papers, he has written this line. I think it was Heisenberg or Schrödinger who said that. Who said that if you are not shocked by quantum mechanics, you have not understood quantum mechanics. Who was it? Heisenberg? One of the greats, maybe Schrödinger. So he said that. And this Ankur Barua quotes him and he says, if you are not shocked by Advaita Vedanta, you have not understood it. What it says is very radical. Compared to all other philosophies, all other religious thought, Advaita Vedanta is very radical. What it says is tremendous. That you are God. How? You can think of as Mr. X, Mrs. Y, but God in what sense? You are God. We are seeking freedom. You are free just now. Not only that, everything that you experience, you do not experience anything else except the technical term is Brahman, Satchidananda. Our bondage, our suffering is due to ignorance, not due to anything real. It can be removed at one stroke by knowledge. All these things are tremendous assertions which are made by Advaita Vedanta. Quite different from, and that's why it's difficult to grasp. It's not complex, it's in fact much simpler than all other philosophies, but difficult to grasp. Because our minds are complex. So if you are not shocked by Advaita Vedanta, you have not understood Advaita Vedanta. Yes.
In the context of your lecture today, is there a point to personal and professional goal setting?
Is there a point to? Yes. Personal and professional goal setting, is it of any use in spiritual life? It is. Remember, spirituality is not against life. Swami Vivekananda said, Vedanta is for everybody, not just for a monks or for a few monks or a few scholars. He says a fisherman who knows a little bit of the Atman will be a better fisherman. A student who knows Vedanta will be a better student. Not only will you be a better person, not only will you be a more peaceful person, you will be more effective in your role as in your career, in your home, in your relationships. So, coming to your question, personal and professional goals, what role do they have in Vedanta, in spiritual life? They have a great role. Once I feel spirituality is my goal, realization of God is my goal, Brahma-jnana is my goal, then everything in life has to be streamlined towards that. So those personal development goals, those professional goals which are in line with my spiritual goals, I will pursue them. They help me. Look at Arjuna. Same Kurukshetra battle he had to fight. But the reorientation was internal. Reorientation was internal. So if it is according, so make it moral, make it for the welfare of others, make it so that it contributes to your own peace of mind, make it so that it does not distract you from your spiritual goal. Definitely personal and professional goals, you have to pay attention to that in order to bring it into line with your spiritual aspiration. Yes, there was a question?
You said Sanskrit is about 2,000 to 3,000
No,
years.
more than that.
I mean, Vedanta is older than Sanskrit.
Certainly.
Yeah, what language is the Vedanta?
No, what I meant, I said was the modern Sanskrit with which we are acquainted now. That is about, that it can date it back to Panini. Panini. About 2500 years, around Buddha, even little before Buddha, I think. And
because Bhashakar was, the Patanjali did it in 2300.
okay,
Panini's Bhasha.
approximately dated by modern scholarship. So at least 2500 years, you can say. Modern Sanskrit. But Vedic Sanskrit is much older. The Vedas, the Upanishads are written by in that language, much, much older. But scholars can tell you better than I can.
Just one question. There is a
One Monday and one spiritual. Can you explain the difference between samadhi of yoga and turiya state of Vedanta? One. And two, iron condition lawyers claim that this is not part of Hinduism. And eventually Supreme Court said that is not true. Can you explain to me in what way Vedanta taught by Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Mission is not part of Hinduism?
Okay. So, the two questions. You asked the question, first question is a very deep philosophical question. Is samadhi of yoga,
Right.
by which you mean Patanjali yoga,
Sure.
and the turiya of
Vedanta.
Vedanta. Are they the same? No, they are not the same. For further details, you can approach him later on, but I'll just tell you briefly. The word turiya means, literally it means chaturtham, fourth. And it comes from the Mandukya Upanishad. Though the original Upanishad does not have the word turiya, Gaudapada Acharya in his Karikas, he uses the word turiya. The Upanishad itself does not say turiya, it says chaturtham. Chaturtham manyante sa atma savikheya, saptama mantra, seventh mantra. And that is the ultimate reality. What do you mean by ultimate reality? What we are, you or I, what we are in this Jagrata, in this avastha right now. The Upanishad says your name now is Vishwa. Now, our condition now, the conscious being which you are or I am in this state, it's called Vishwa. Give this role number 1. When we go into dream, this world changes. We are aware of a dream body, not this physical body which is lying on the bed. We forget it. We have a dream body, a dream world, and the consciousness in that state, which you or I are in that state. The Upanishad says your name is Taijasa. Roll number 2. Like students, you give roll number 1, 2, roll number 2. In deep sleep, when we forget the external world, the mind shuts down, there is no awareness of body, there is no dream also. Then what happens to the consciousness? That consciousness which is there in that state, it is there. There is a lot of argument about that, how it is there in deep sleep. So that consciousness is called Pragya. Pragya. Number 3. Roll number 3. Give it roll number 3. I am giving. Upanishad does not say roll number 1, 2, 3. I am just adding for better understanding. Now these are the 3 things we experience. Our state, your state, my state. These are the 3 states that we experience throughout our lives. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. In Jagrat, I or you, we are called Vishwa. In Swapna, I or you, we are called Taijasa. In deep sleep, I or you, we are called Pragya. What are we in reality? According to the Upanishad, none of these states are real in themselves because they exclude each other and they come and go. Why are they not real in themselves? Because they exclude each other. The Vishwa consciousness is not the Taijasa consciousness. Taijasa consciousness is not the Pragya consciousness. And yet, who's waking? Whose dream? Whose deep sleep? Yours or mine? So there is something which is constant in all of them. That constant, which is appearing as Vishwa in Jagrata, which is appearing as Taijasa in dream, which is appearing as Pragya in deep sleep. Remember, Vishwa, Taijasa, Pragya, roll number 1, 2 and 3. Those are fancy names. These are names, these are experiences of everybody. All of us daily we are experiencing it. Just Vedanta has given some name to it. Now what Vedanta tells us, what we do not know, what is the new thing that Vedanta reveals to us? The new thing is this, that there is a consciousness which appears, which is constant in the 3 states and which appears as Vishwa, Taijasa, Pragya in the 3 states. So that one, give it roll number 4. Roll number 4, call it Turiya. Turiya literally means roll number 4. Fourth. And that is supposed to be the reality. Now, the thing to know there is, it is not a fourth state. It is not something fourth. It is the only reality. The first 3 are appearances. It is the Turiya alone. In the Jagrata Avastha, that Turiya associated with the body and mind is called Vishwa. It is the Turiya alone. In the Swapna Avastha, associated with the dream state and dream body and mind is called Taijasa. In the deep state, the potential state, the causal state, deep sleep state, same Turiya becomes Pragya. But in all 3, the Turiya is common to all 3. It is the only reality. Shankaracharya says, Maya Sankhya Turiyam. By a false counting, it is the 4th. 1 is false, 2 is false, 3 is false. Hence, this one is not the 4th. This is the only reality. That is the ultimate reality. Sa Atma, Sa Vijnaya. That is the Atman. It is consciousness, pure consciousness. That is the Atman that has to be realized. Realized as how? I am that Turiya. Right now, what is our realization? I am this waking person, sitting and trying to learn about this, what is this Turiya and all that. I feel I am that. The Jnani feels that he or she is Turiya, not this waking person. Turiya appearing as a waking person. Now, for more details, you can come to the class today. There is a class organized by the Hindu Students Association, Texas University. I think later you can announce what is the class, those who want to go, where is the place also. So that's what we will discuss there, this particular topic.
Ashik has been waiting for a long time. The last question from you.
No, let me finish. I haven't finished, I have answered you. Because it's an important question and I am enjoying the answer. I am enjoying the question and the answer. I don't know how many may be bored by it, but it's a very profound question. Now, Samadhi in Patanjali Yoga is a technique, is a method. Patanjali Yoga says, remember Patanjali Yoga is a different philosophy. They don't subscribe to this idea of Turiya. They say pure consciousness called Purusha somehow has become tied up with Prakriti, matter. And the idea is to separate them. In deep Samadhi, Asampragyata Samadhi, Purusha is realized to be what it is as pure consciousness. So the goal there is Samadhi, and through that liberation which they call Kaivalya. Kaivalya, the yogis call it Kaivalya, which means Purusha will exist. Purusha here does not mean male or female, it means pure consciousness. And each of us is a separate Purusha. So we will exist as pure consciousness. A bit like in Western philosophy, Leibniz, he spoke about monads, consciousness, pure individual pure consciousnesses. So a bit like that. So Samadhi is meant for that. So there will be separation of Prakriti and Purusha exists by itself. But Advaita idea is not that. Advaita idea, first of all, there is only one Turiya. It's not that you have a separate Turiya, I have a separate Turiya, she has a separate Turiya. It is one Turiya alone, which is Brahman, which is appearing in so many ways. And there, Samadhi is the way to achieve Kaivalya, according to them. Samadhi gives rise to an awareness which is called Viveka Khyati, which leads to separation of Prakriti Purusha. Here, in Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, Samadhi is not the way. Jnana is the way. Advaita Jnana is the way. Knowledge that I am Turiya. Recognition of that. Acceptance of that. Claiming that I am Turiya. It's already an accomplished fact. You don't have to go through a process of separating something. It's an accomplished fact. It has to be known. And they will fight against each other. When we do Vichara, Vedanta Vichara, like this we are doing, the yogis will say, ye to vikshep hai. You are disturbing your mind. Sit and meditate. Don't think so much. Don't read so much. Don't listen to so many lectures. Sit and meditate. And the Vedantins will say to the yogis, in deep Samadhi, what knowledge will come? Knowledge comes when the mind is active. When any knowledge that we have experience of, where is knowledge? Knowledge is in the mind. If you shut down the mind, how will you get knowledge? What knowledge will come out of sitting quietly? So this is They criticize each other. Both of these systems are extremely sophisticated, very profound systems, wonderful
Can I
systems.
ask one more question related to that?
Afterwards we will talk about that. Okay, but you asked the question. Let me think about it.
Did Ramakrishna, when he went to Samadhi, did he experience a Purusha or did he experience Utturiya state as he claims that he or universal?
Yes. Yes, remember one thing. What we ultimately experience is our own real nature, which is infinite. That is what is expressed in the Upanishads. All these systems, whether you call it Uttara Mimamsa, Advaita, Vedanta and so on, or Patanjali Yoga or Sankhya or Nyaya, Vaisheshika, these are darshana. Shruti is first, Smriti, then Darshana Shastra comes. So Darshana Shastra are philosophers who have intellectualized and tried to systematize the Shruti. Shruti is the first, and beyond the Shruti is the reality itself. Because the reality is infinite, the same reality can be expressed in different ways. So Patanjali can understand it in one way and give a system of Patanjali Yoga for it. Vedanta can understand in another way and give another. Are they equal? Are they same? They are not same. You must understand each is unique. And are they equal? You may say they are equal. My personal feeling is Advaita Vedanta is superior. Definitely. As far as philosophy is concerned, as far as rationality is concerned, as far as depth is concerned, and Advaita Vedanta is not against Samadhi. Samadhi has a place, Bhakti has a place, Karma has a place. And all of them help together to attain Brahmagyana. But Brahmagyana is produced by Vedanta Shravana alone. That is the position of Advaita Vedanta. And that gives moksha. So this is the clear position of Advaita Vedanta. But the fact is, these are all systematizations done by the human mind. So we should know them. We should not bundle them together and say all of them are same. They are not same. And if you do that, you lose the richness. Each has very sophisticated structures are there in these systems. And they are all very beautiful. Okay. And the other one, you asked a practical mundane question. That was something else. That has nothing to do with Ramakrishna or Vivekananda or Vedanta or Hindu, not even anything to do with Hinduism. That was a particular problem in those days, only in Bengal. Because of a particular government at that time, there was a clash between the authorities of the order and the local government and political parties. And they were trying to grab those institutions which we had started. And some lawyer gave a certain idea. I will tell you more about it later on. So none of that is accepted even by the monks of the Ramakrishna order. We don't, and luckily all those things are gone and finished. Yeah.
Just a comment. I don't have the question.
Okay.
That in the second chapter of Gita, when Arjuna asked this question, that Sita Pradnesya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. I think that solves the problem there, because he says already the one who is what you call
in samadhi.
One who is samadhi, but who is how he talks, how he walks, being in samadhi. I think that answers the question.
True.
Yeah. That means he is a realized person.
Yes, and he's Stita Prajna. Stita Prajna means wisdom, Brahmagyana, established in Brahma.
That's exactly.
That's the real nature.
Answer.